All right, friends, so I am quite flushed because I just got out of the bath, so do not panic. Not having an allergic reaction or something. I don't know. This is just how I look when I get out of the bath, so we'll move on. So I really want to do a 2025 recap because this year so many things happened, and what I'm basically going to do is go back through my vlogs and see what happened, because the things that happened I talked about. So as I go through and talk about these topics, I will link the vlog. There's a Nemo, a wild Nemo appeared. I will link the vlog where I like fully dove into that topic if you want to check it out and maybe miss that vlog. Let's go into it. We're gonna go by category. The first category is health, because so many health things happened this year, so let's dive in. I had some really big diagnoses this year. I had a Sjogren's diagnosis, which actually started because I started having really bad joint pain earlier this year, and I have had joint pain my whole life, but this was like all the joints in my body started hurting at once, and it just turned on, and so that led to an autoimmune diagnosis of Sjogren's, and that was huge. But so far I haven't been on any treatment that has worked, so stay tuned to see where that goes. And I also was diagnosed with autism this year. That was humongous for me. I have changed so many things in my life to accommodate my needs that I did not realize were because of autism, and I would just like push through, and that wasn't helping anybody. So that was a huge diagnosis in my life, and I'm so grateful for that. I did so much PT this year. I was pretty much in PT the whole year. I started out the year with pelvic floor PT, which absolutely was life-changing. I had really bad chronic constipation, and through PT I learned how to use a squatty potty correctly, and my chronic constipation went away. So that was an incredibly life-changing experience. Really love my pelvic floor PT. And then I started regular PT. First I was in it for my shoulder, then I was in it for my Achilles, then I was in it for my hip, and the last thing I did was my TMJ pain, and I'm so grateful I found like the PT of my dreams. I love her so much. Unfortunately, she just had a baby, so I couldn't continue PT with her even though I probably needed it. I was also out of PT with insurance this year, so the timing worked out, I guess. I also started orthostatic intolerance treatments, so basically POTS treatments. They want me to drink a gallon of water a day, which I do not get to every day, and then also salt intake. I'm supposed to have 5,000 milligrams of salt, 4,000 to 5,000 a day, which I also rarely achieve, but I am trying and I am keeping track, and that's what counts. I'm also supposed to wear compression socks every day, and I also started POTS PT, and that's all at Johns Hopkins. Then I had 2 biopsies this year. So I had a lip biopsy that helped to diagnose my Sjogren's disease, and that was in June, and I still have lip numbness from it. So it is getting better. I can feel this a little bit. It's maybe still 60% numb. So hopefully in 1 year, they thought that it takes nerves to regrow. So I'm a really slow healer, and it takes my body a lot longer than normal, so maybe it'll be 2 years before hopefully my lip is back to normal. And then I had my scalp biopsy. That actually led to my folliculitis decalvans diagnosis with scarring, which then led to the whole cephalexin experiment that I'm currently still on, and that is really exciting for maybe a clue of why this cephalexin, this antibiotic, has given me physical energy and helped my most debilitating symptom. And so that was really exciting. However, with the scalp biopsy, I did react to the Vaseline, had an allergic reaction to that. So biopsies for me are just never normal. What is going on back here? Nemo, are you trying to get under? He's trying to get under the sheet. Then I also had a pulmonary function test done, which ended up being a lot more stressful than I thought it was going to be, but I did survive. I also had to have a Schirmer's dry eye test done as part of my Sjogren's diagnosis at Johns Hopkins, where they basically stick paper strips like in your eye, like basically between your eye and your eyelid for like 5 minutes. And I have just a huge problem with autism with eyes, so I was losing my mind for that test. I also went on 2 rounds of prednisone this year for my autoimmune stuff and got lots of energy on it, which felt amazing. I also started doing self-Reiki this year. I've kind of gotten away from it recently, but I still do daily affirmations, which have been helping several of my symptoms, like my acne and also my bloating. My bloating had been so bad. I just looked like I was pregnant all the time, and after I started doing daily affirmations, that got so much better. So that was really exciting to have some symptom relief in those areas. I also had an EMG test done earlier this year. This is crazy. This was all this year. And the neurologist who did did it said, like, if you had stayed on the med that gave me neuropathy, which was Zoladex for an endometriosis treatment, that my neuropathy would have been permanent, which sucks. And so thank God I listened to my body that was telling me get off this med right now, and I did that. And I kind of went against the doctor's wishes at that time, and my neuropathy has not been permanent and has almost fully gone away after a year and a half. So that was really exciting, but also kind of sad. But a reminder to listen to your body when your body tells you that something is not going well for it. And towards the beginning of this last year, I saw a medium, and that truly sparked my second spiritual awakening, which has completely changed the trajectory of this year. I found an acupuncturist because of it that I absolutely love, and like I go to a treatment every month and I feel like it's a spiritual experience, and I have really tapped into so many spiritual things that are totally changing my life and like helping to guide me, and that's just been an incredible experience. So I'm really grateful for that. That was a huge change this year. And I also found a great medical team this year. It's so bittersweet because many of those doctors are in Delaware, and in 6 months I'm going to lose my insurance because I'm on Cobra, and I'm gonna have to go on Medicaid. And what that means is that all my doctors will have to be in Pennsylvania because I live in Pennsylvania. And so this next year we'll be trying to find doctors that I love just as much, but in PA instead of Delaware, and I'll have to lose all these doctors that I just found and absolutely love, which sucks. Okay, you girls, getting really cold. This is part of my wind down of getting out of the bath, is I will be just sweating and super hot, and then I will hit a point where I'm really cold, and we're at that point now, so we're going in. Okay, so creatively this year, now we're moving into creative. Health was probably the biggest, yeah, health was the biggest section because so much happened there, but creatively I started a Substack this year, which was so cool. I only have, I think, like 7 poems on there right now and a couple other little projects, but that was really big for me to like put my writing out there. I haven't done that since probably high school, so that was huge for me. And if you aren't subscribed yet, link below to go check it out. And I have so many plans of like what else I want to release on there, so stay tuned. What I also started doing was posting like daily, was posting when I can, quotes. I am kind of obsessed with quotes. I have a huge list in my notes app of my favorite quotes. So what I would do is I would post quotes, and then I would add it to this like master compilation list, and that was really fun for me. So that's something I'd like to continue in the new year as well. All right, so I didn't count this specifically, but there are 52 weeks in a year, and I uploaded every single week this year, and for the last 5 years I haven't missed a single upload. So I should have uploaded 52, maybe 53, depending on how the Wednesdays worked out, videos this year, which is kind of crazy. I am really proud of myself for sticking with this project, and even when I'm not feeling well, to still be dedicated to this and growing this really amazing, lovely community that we have, and I really appreciate you. And then on this channel I did a whole digital minimalism series. That was so much fun to put together. I put so much time and energy into that series, but I'm really proud of it, and I really want to do more minimalism videos this next year as well, because that is something that I'm really passionate about. I also made my own meditation series, and I uploaded it to a whole new YouTube channel that I created, and also an insight timer that I created as well. I have a page on Insight Timer, links below if you want to go check them out. And I created a whole meditation series with affirmations according to each chakra. That was really cool, and that project took way longer than I thought it would. It was so hard, but I'm really proud of that project too. So if you haven't checked them out yet, go check them out. All right, fun things we did this year. 1, went to the aquarium, and that vlog came out on Christmas Eve, so I don't think many people watched it, but I put a lot of time and effort into editing that vlog with all of my favorite photos and videos from that experience. So if you haven't checked it out, go check it out because it was so fun. I went to a bunch of estate sales this year. When I say a bunch, it probably was like 2 or 3, maybe 3, maybe 4. 3 to 4, but they were so fun. And we also went to UD's move out sale in May. That is by far the most amazing sale to find furniture. We found some great pieces to furnish my dad's new house, and so that was like a really fun experience as well. And we went with my friend Kelly, and it was just really fun. Speaking of estate sales, I did a vlog on going to an estate sale at a mortuary, and what was really cool is that the granddaughter of the people who own that mortuary actually found my video and commented on it, and I wanted to share the comment because, first of all, it was such a sweet comment and it really made my day. I read it to my parents and I was like, this is so cool, and it gave some really interesting background. So let's read this. Okay, so she said, hi, first of all, you were adorable doing this video. Oh my God, stop, thank you. Second, I'm one of the grandchildren, so I can elaborate on any questions you may have about the funeral home. So nice. So if you want to go check out the video and then comment and ask your questions, feel free. It was our playground growing up, which I think is so cool. And I actually messaged her back asking a question about, like, if you grow up around celebrating the end of life, does that make kind of as a child death less scary? Because I think in our society we make death kind of this taboo subject. She said the house has multiple additions. The farmhouse portion was the front part of the house where the exit was for the sale. The morgue itself, we have doors hidden because they are pocket doors, but they are still used, which is really cool. The funeral home was shut down pre-COVID, but family still lives there. And the one baby coffin, so in my video I talked about this baby coffin that was there. She said the baby coffin was actually hers, that her grandfather had purchased. They weren't sure I was going to make it after birth, but 32 years later I'm still kicking. Thank you for enjoying the house as much as we do. What a sweet comment. That was so cool. So what a fun story that she has to be like, yes, I have my own baby coffin. What a wild story. So that was a huge highlight. And I love when people comment on videos and actually interact on my channel, because it makes me feel like I'm not just talking to myself, like there's actually people out there, and really sweet comments like this just make my whole day. All right, some other fun things we did this year. My dad and I had started this series called The Masked Kitchen, but this year it was The Unmasked Kitchen because he was in our bubble, and we made gluten-free chocolate pie and a gluten-free broccoli cheddar quiche. That was so good, and that series was so fun. I did a whole blooper video too, and it took a lot of time to edit. We had over an hour of footage, so please go check it out. Also this year, I was interviewed by WHYY, which was the coolest experience. It was an interview about my friend Emily's project about chronic illness, and that was really, really cool. So yeah, I also went to a fossil and gem show in the beginning of this year, and it was such a cool experience. It really sparked my love of rocks and fossils again, and I got some really cool stuff. So if you want to go check out that video, I did a haul of what I got. And then the last section is just other, which is just random stuff. So we had 2 fundraising events for this year, and our total raised is over $115,000, which is pretty crazy. And then kind of a sad update was UD, University of Delaware, officially kicked me out because of my health. So if you want to go hear that story, go check it out. I also had my first tarot card reading, which kind of went in with my whole spiritual experience. I also got my first deck of tarot cards, so that was really cool. I also came out for the second time as pansexual, so that was really fun. And I also found internal family systems and parts work therapy and did kind of a whole video exploring that. So I did a lot of internal work this year and a lot of healing work as well. I also went to 2 protests this year, the No Kings protest and the Hands Off protest. So that was really fun. We also trapped 4 flying squirrels in my dad's attic and rehomed them because they could not stay in our attic. They were so loud and kind of destructive. And so yeah, we caught them in a live trap, and then we moved them out of our house to a undisclosed nature location area. But they were so cute, and I was really glad that we could like safely remove them and then re-release them into the wild. And then my dad bought a new house that I mentioned before, and we moved in, and that was like a lot. Moving is always a lot, but it was a really cool experience. And this one is my mom's house, but my dad's house, you've seen the background of my vlogs. Love my new room, and it was just like such a cool experience. So that was my recap for this year, friends. Thank you so much for listening and for being along on this journey. You know, on a sad note as well, we just lost our 16-year-old cat Joy. I will be doing a vlog about that and kind of sharing a celebration of life and sharing more about her story and how much we loved her. So yeah. But thank you so much for listening, my friends. I will see you all next year, which is kind of crazy. I hope you had a great 2025 and are looking forward to 2026. See you all next year, my friends. Bye.